All right, Threat. Two things.
Yeah,
One, I hope the audio is good for everybody because Windows did an update. I already had to change mic settings and other audio settings to get it back to
that,
where
it
it was
does sound fine here.
pre-updates.
I know that means nothing.
That was question one. The question two is, are you purchasing any Google-based hardware?
Yes.
What'd you get?
So here's the interesting thing. I'm going to try to rein this in. I know I can go on and on, but especially something like this, it's very convoluted. But it was a series of things that have occurred this year that seem interrelated, but they're all kind of snowballing into something, And part of it was I went into the the Pixel ecosystem, tried all the earbuds, the watch, the tablet. It's all garbage, right? The phone is awesome. Like with the 8 series, they really actually finally got it right.
Mm-hmm.
But ahead of the Snapdragon, blah, 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 whatever, I bought a MacBook Air and I kept using the iPhone because of the integration stuff. And then iPhone iOS 18 and blah, and it's like, oh man, like I actually really like what Apple's doing here. And the Sonos stuff went south and got these home pods, which is crazy for me. And I'm like, maybe I need to rethink like how I do things for like consumer services, blah, blah, blah. I've been testing iCloud, which by the way, freaking nightmare on Windows. What a waste of time that is. But still uploading. I get 127,000 something photos, whatever it is, 70,000 to go. And it's been going for 8-9 days. Like this is not exciting. Like it's ridiculous. So that's not working out. But I, kind of heading into this, I was like, I could probably skip this year, even though I love the look of this, like the phones, like
Yeah, they look
beautiful,
great.
right? They're beautiful. And, I watched the event I was writing about. I was taking notes and working on an article. And as I was going, and I was like, yeah, I got to look at this. Let me just see what this looks like. And actually, dude, I'm this is off the top of my head, so I might forget something here, but the base Pro XL, which is the bigger one now,
Mm-hmm.
just the phone, not the folding phone, is $1099, which they're not any cheaper anymore like they used to be. But they give you like a crazy trade-in value. I got like $700 for my phone,
Whoa.
so that puts it down to $400. You get a year of Google Gemini, which I don't care about. That includes the 2 terabyte tier of Google One, which I do care about. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
paying for that. And that's worth, I think they said $200 or $120, whatever the number is. I don't know, $120, whatever that is. You get a $200 credit from the Google store, I think. Now you can't apply it to this purchase, but to whatever. And then because I'm a Google One subscriber already, I buy it through that account and I get like a 10% discount there. At the end of that, like it didn't pay for itself. I'm not saying I'm not saying I made money. That's ridiculous. But I don't, out of pocket. Well, is $1,100. I have to trade my phone. But like realistically speaking, it was kind of a wash. And when you consider the fact that like I probably should write about this stuff, and I probably should be getting it for free from Google. I got to talk to them about this. I don't understand what the heck's going on there. But yeah, so that's what I did. I ended up buying it. Like I'm really interested in the Fold, like really
The
interested.
Fold is. I gotta
More than
agree.
more than I would have
It's
thought,
like
right?
what we all wanted this thing to become, right? It was like
Yeah. And
because this
actually,
thing is
so that
thin.
device was dumb in some ways, but the kind of passport shaped form factor I really like. And on the original Fold, that's what they had. Now they've moved to a taller design that's kind of halfway between where they
Mm-hmm.
were and where, like, say, Samsung is. The Samsung phones, like the outside is like too tall and thin.
Yep.
So the goal with this one was to make it like super thin for a foldable, and then the aspect ratio is like a normal phone, so it feels normal. But of course, you can still get that 8-inch, kind of mini tablet effect when you open it up. And this is in our space and personal technology. I mean, that one device that can do the job of two is kind of the dream, is one of the dreams. And usually there are so many compromises. It's like it's kind of bad at both sides of that equation, whatever device we're talking about. And I mean, I feel like it's almost there. I mean, maybe it's there. Like, I don't know. Cause
The
I can't
problem
buy that.
with it is it's $1,800. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's a problem with it. It runs Android. That's a problem. You know, yeah, there's problems. I mean,
18. So here's the other thing I was
yep.
thinking too. As I was watching this event yesterday, they're like, it's the thinnest thing ever, or whatever, foldable. So
So
there's the rumors of the Apple foldable device, right? And then there's also
right.
rumors that next year there's going to be a new thin top line, whatever, Air phone, whatever you want to call it, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, slap two thin things together that Apple's now making. Got
Yeah.
yourself foldable.
I mean, that's Apple's business model does not involve you buying less hardware, but it,
Right.
but I mean, that's a thing. I when one complains about the cost of a phone, the natural response is to kind of look at the cost of that thing over the amount of time you're going to own it, and say, look, this device is so important that if it's $20 a month or something over some period of years, it's like, whatever, who cares? But if you do the math on $1,800 and you say like 3 years, divide by, it works out to like $50 a month. And that's a lot of money. And there's two caveats. One is that you don't actually need this thing, right?
Right.
You could get a phone for cheaper that does what
You don't need any of this stuff. A 5-year-old
Well, I
Samsung
mean, you need
Galaxy
everyone
would
needs a
be-
phone. I don't think we can actually push back against phone, but because of the expense, look, you don't need a Bugatti.
Right.
A Corolla would do the job, right? Maybe there's something nice like a high-end Toyota or a low-end Lexus that kind of we can meet in the middle somewhere. But on the other side is people are going to be trading in, and one of the things that Google's doing this time, especially if you have a Google phone, but which I know is not that many people, that phone is not worth $700. I didn't pay much more than $700 for it when I bought it. They're doing really good trades. So there might be an opportunity if you have a recent Pixel, especially, and maybe a recent Samsung. I don't think those are quite as good, but when you chop $400 to $700 off that price and then do the math, you're like, well, actually, let me do the math. So let's call it $1,300, right? Divided by 3 divided by 12 is $36 a month. So it's still not like it's expensive. I mean, it's expensive, but is it worth $35? We'll call it a month.
Nope.
Some people might say yes.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it either. Right. So, it's Google too. I mean,
It looks great though. Some people will buy it and they'll be happy, and I have no doubt about it. I mean,
it's beautiful looking. Yeah.
If I was going to buy a foldable for my daily driver, the Pixel Fold, whatever XL Pro thing they're calling it, would be the device. Like it's good looking.
There's no answer here for me. Because there's stuff on both sides I really like. We've talked about the AirPlay stuff, on the Apple side. There's just certain things I really miss when I'm not there. But then I pick up the Pixel and it's way thinner, way lighter. And then there are things about Android I really like too. And it's like, but Apple's closing the gap with the iOS 18 stuff. I really like the dark, auto color, whatever, stuff they're doing. It's kind of, I don't look, if this was a clear decision, there would be nothing to talk about, but I don't know. It depends how far up Apple's behind you are with, all the peripherals and other ecosystem services, etc.
Choice-ish, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I give Google credit. I wasn't expecting to be swayed.
Did fine.
Honestly,
That was fine. Gemini is whatever. I mean, it's
Yep.
These things are all kind of the same now, right? We got there real quick.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. By the way, the camera hardware almost completely unchanged year over year. The selfie camera is dramatically better. So now they have 50-ish megapixel cameras everywhere. But last year, Google got to a place Apple will get to, not this year, but probably next year. The rear cameras are all 50-ish megapixel. That's still true this year. Even though they look identical, one of them, I think it's the telephoto lens, is actually an improved sensor with which will be better for non-blurry shots, night shots, that kind of thing. But as far as the actual capabilities, it's really not that big of an upgrade. But it has the newer chip, it has the more RAM, and it's going to do more AI, and that's actually going to benefit photography, right? So the photography experience is probably going to be a nice upgrade, even though from a hardware perspective, it's not much of an upgrade because you super need high resolution selfies for some reason.
There's a lot of stuff that's interesting. I don't know if interesting is in a good tense here. Like the Add Me feature, where it's like you take a group photo and then you give your phone
and then
to
you run
else,
in and take another one.
And you're not there. Like
look, people want this. This is we were just in DC. I saw dozens of examples of somebody holding someone else's camera
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
take a picture of a family or a couple, whatever. This happened all day long, both days, right? And I don't know. I mean, that's fine, right? I mean, is that a big deal? I mean, people do this for each other all the time. Like they'll say, "Hey, do you mind taking a photo?" Like, no, actually, do you mind taking one of us as well
Oh
since we're
yeah,
here? You know that?
that's one of my favorite things going on holiday because
Yeah,
there's
it's a
certain
social
people
thing. I
who just
mean,
don't know how to take photos, and these people are my heroes because they're just so disconnected. It's like it's a digital, it's a camera on your phone, and they take
yeah.
one photo, like as if we have to go get this processed, and we have a limited amount of film.
One of my favorite pictures of all time is when we took the kids to Ireland when they were really little, probably 2004 or 5. So Kelly would have been tiny. And I had Kelly take a we had a digital camera, right?
Hmm.
Not a phone. But I had my daughter who was, I mean, I'm 3 to 4 years, so really small, take a picture of her, Stephanie and I and Mark in front of the Cliffs of Moher in,
Yeah, yeah.
Ireland. And it's a photo of our bodies in the ground and our heads are what's cut off at the top. Like that's the picture she
It's
took.
her viewpoint.
And I was like, this is why you didn't get to take pictures,
Yep, those are the best.
That was how she saw the world. She doesn't even know what we look like.
Yeah, we have photos where we give the camera or our phone to the kid and like take our photo, and they're all like
Yeah.
90-degree whatever horizontal and like you half a face. They're great. I
We
love
must
those.
have, we gave, I think it was Mark, when he was really same age or less. I mean, gave him a little disposable camera. He ran around the house and took pictures of the
Mhm.
house and the world and outside and the pets and stuff from his viewpoint. And it's like this, like, he was like
Yeah.
3 feet shorter than we were or whatever. Like, and it's actually kind of fascinating. Like it's kind of like when someone mounts like a little camera on a cat or something and it runs around the world. And you're like, oh my God, like what a weird viewpoint. But I don't know. Google, what are you going to do?